Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, September 13th, and this is our morning drive live. So, I am back today, back home, back in the office, after spending the last week in Orlando, Florida at the ADOM 2021 National Conference. And I just want to talk today about what I heard over and over and over again at the conference. And the biggest thing that people kept saying was how amazing it was to have a support system, to have people that they knew they could reach out to, they could ask questions, they could contact, they could just talk to. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. That they could just talk to when they were having a rough day, when they were having a hard time, when, the office was making them crazy or something else was making them crazy. And, it made me think about all of the support systems that dentists have, that hygienists have. They all have their associations, they have their Facebook groups, they have, local meetings, and they attend them and they go to them. Study clubs and all of these things where people can get support, whether that's a something like Smile Source for the dentists, or like I said, a local study club, or a group of friends that gets together regularly. And I I didn't realize that office managers and the admin teams didn't participate in those things. When I was in the office and I was an office manager every single day, I always went to the study clubs. I always went to those things. And I didn't realize that people don't go to that. So, it really makes it important for the admin teams, for the office managers, for the team at the front desk to have somewhere to get that support. And, I want to let you guys know that here in this group, we are that support. We can be that support to an extent, but you also need to get involved locally, to have a local ADOM chapter if you don't have one. ADOM is the group, and I don't want to sound like a commercial for ADOM, but ADOM is the group for office managers, for admin employees in the dental office. It's not just office managers, it's office management. So anything you're involved in, even if you're a dentist, you can be involved in ADOM, and, get involved with your local chapter. Friday morning at the national conference, I helped to moderate the roundtable discussions with all of the local chapter presidents for ADOM. There are 70 plus local chapters in different areas of the country. They're all over. And the biggest issue that they were all facing was finding members, was getting people involved in their local chapter. People go to the national conference, people go to wherever it is. It was just in Orlando. It's going to be in Scottsdale, Arizona next year. People go to those. But, get involved with your local chapter. Having that support system in place, having those like-minded people who, know you and are like you and face some of the same challenges, the same problems, and can help find solutions for them is, I mean, it's so super, super valuable. And, this group of people, there's 1,100 dental management professionals there last week. And it truly, truly was amazing. I had been to an ADOM conference years and years ago, 16, 17, 18 years ago, as an attendee. And it had such a huge impact on me back then. And I think there was maybe, 100 people. And it had a huge impact on me. Now there's 1,100 people. And it was just amazing. But the biggest part of it was everybody was there to support each other. Everybody was there to lend a hand and give advice and include people in their conversations, include people in their week of learning. And, that's just something that, to me, seeing that meant a lot. It meant more to me than a lot of people will realize. Um, so, it's just something I want everybody to understand. I want everybody to, get involved somehow, some way. If it's here, if it's through the chapter, if it's in the group, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to help answer questions if there's something you know the answer to. Get involved in the conversation, because that's the only way we are going to further the industry as a whole, is by all of us getting involved. So, I just want to put that out there. Everybody be involved, whether it's, in any capacity that you possibly can. So that's it. I'm here. I'm pulling in. It's my first day back in the office in a week. Everybody have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, September 14th, and this is our morning drive live. So, there was a post yesterday in the group about Delta limiting perio maintenance for a specific time after SRP. And, my comment was, yep, this is really nothing new. MetLife has been doing this for, as long as I can remember. And, what is the process? And a lot of people were commenting different things. And I just wanted to put my process, what we do when we run into that with our clients, how we handle that. So, let me kind of start with that, and then we'll go into some other issues with it. So, as you guys know, the perio maintenance code, the D4910 code, is the code for any recall visit for a patient who has had either periodontal surgery or has had scaling and root planing. And if you look at the definition of the code, it says it is instituted after periodontal treatment, scaling and root planing, periodontal surgery, for the life of the dentition or any implant placements. Now, there is some argument out there that, after a certain amount of time, if the patient has become stable, if you're never cured from periodontal disease, but have absolutely no signs or symptoms, you could at that point put them back over to a prophy based on the doctor's determination. However, just to be clear, the code itself specifically says, as of right now, and remember this is always subject to change once a year when the CDT codes are updated, but as of right now, it specifically says for the life of the dentition or any implant placements. So basically what that means is, as long as the patient has a tooth in their head after SRP, they would be receiving a periodontal maintenance per the code. Now, there is a huge difference between a prophy and a periodontal maintenance. And I think people tend to get tripped up on that difference, because a lot of people were commenting on that post yesterday saying, well, we just redo the scaling and root planing. We just redo the SRP every 2 years or 3 years or however often the insurance allows that to happen. But here is the problem with doing that. Scaling previously treated areas. So let's say a patient comes in and they have an SRP and you do a full mouth SRP. You bill for the full mouth on the claim form when it says what were the tooth numbers affected. You do upper left quad, upper right quad, lower left, lower right. That's telling not only the patient's record, but also the insurance company that you've scaled the entire quad. If you're doing all four and you're billing upper left, upper right, lower right, you are telling them you scaled every single tooth that that patient has. The periodontal maintenance code includes scaling of previously treated areas. So what that means is, if the patient had those 4 full quads of scaling and they've maintained a periodontal maintenance schedule, whether that's every 3 months, every 4 months, twice a year, or even one time a year, and you bill out the periodontal maintenance once a year that the patient comes back, you have stated that you did spot scaling on all of the previously treated areas. So if you are doing that as per the code, how could you possibly need to redo the SRP, possibly need to redo that scaling again every 2 years or every 3 years or 4 years, however often or however long it has been, if the patient has already had that done? So at that point, it becomes, we're just doing it in order to get insurance to pay something. And as we all know, billing to appease the insurance company is something you're not allowed to do. So, you can't bill for the periodontal maintenance routinely and then say, oh, the patient needs scaling again on those same areas that were previously treated, just to get insurance to pay something. So, I want to make that very clear, because there should be a huge difference between a prophy and a periodontal maintenance visit, because the periodontal maintenance visit includes that scaling of previously treated areas. So, what do we do when the insurance company denies the D4910 because there's no history of SRP in the last 2 years or 4 years or 3 years or however often? What we will do is we will submit to the insurance company the date of the original SRP. We will submit the entire history of D4910 visits with a narrative including the definition of the code. And the majority of the time, and we include, of course, perio charting and x-rays, the majority of the time it does then get paid. However, if it still doesn't, your next step is to ask for a downgrade. So the insurance company will pay it as a pro fee. However, the patient will owe the difference between the pro fee amount paid and the amount allowed for a periodontal maintenance visit. So, that's something that's important to keep in mind. And then, of course, the final option is the patient is responsible for the periodontal maintenance in full, and I make sure to tell them they need to get a new insurance because their insurance stinks. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that clears up some information about the SRP, what's included in the periodontal maintenance codes. If you have questions, let me know. That is it. I am here. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, September 16th, and this is our morning drive live. Lately in the group, there has been a lot of discussion about retroactive terminations and refund requests from patients, or from insurance companies, sorry. And I wanted to just touch base on those two topics just to clear up any misconceptions that may be out there about these two topics, because it is something that we are seeing since COVID last year, since the shutdown, since insurance companies are working on skeleton crews, and many companies have brought back less employees, have less people working, or people working from home. It seems the backlog of work has grown even more. So, let's talk first about retroactive terminations and what that means. Now, when a company terminates employment with an employee, and that could be for any reason, whether the employee resigned or they were terminated or whatever it may be, that company has 90 days to notify the insurance company of that employee's termination and the ceasing of their benefits. So, most of it now is done through a web portal, and, somebody from the HR department, or, whoever is in charge of handling those benefits will log into the web portal, or will fax a form over to the insurance company, or will call and speak with one of their employment representatives and let the insurance company know that that employee no longer works for the company as of this date, whatever that may be. And they have 90 days to do that from the date of the employee's termination. So let's say an employee was terminated on March 1st. The employer has 90 days, so until June 1st, to notify the insurance company of that termination. Now, the insurance company has 90 days to update their system reflecting that. Most of them will do it much quicker, but they have 90 days in which to do that, which means if somebody is really backlogged, if the processing is taking forever, if the employer didn't do it online to where it's done almost instantly, then that takes you up to September 1st. So now you have an employee who was terminated on March 1st, but when they came in on March 14th, their insurance was showing as active. When they came back in June because they had that toothache, their insurance was showing as active. They went and had the root canal, the insurance was showing as active. Now they're coming back to you in August for the crown to go over that root canal tooth, and their insurance is showing as active. And you do the work, and the insurance pays you because, according to their system, it's still active. But now September 1st hits, and the 180 days has expired. It's processed, and the insurance company goes, whoops, all those claims that we paid in March and in June and in July for the root canal and in August for the crown, they are all incorrectly paid, and we want our money back. So now you get a nice letter from the insurance company saying, we overpaid, the patient's coverage was not active at the time of service, and we would like our money back. And you say, but wait, I have printouts showing they were verified. I have a printout, a fax back on August 10th showing that this patient's insurance coverage was active. How can you ask for the money back? Well, they can because, again, employer has 90 days, insurance company has 90 days. That's just the way it works. Now, each state has a different time frame for which an insurance company is allowed to ask for a refund of an overpayment or an incorrectly paid claim. It varies by state. The vast majority of them are 12 months. There are very few that are 24 or 36, and there are even less that have no rule. Now, on the resources page of our website, if you go to practicemechanic.com, click on resources up in the upper right-hand corner, there is a document on there called Give It Back. And that document is a state-by-state listing of the time frames for which an insurance company is allowed to request the refund of an overpayment. If your state says no rule, that means not, well, I don't have to give it back. That means the insurance company has no maximum time frame in which they can request a refund. Now, if you are in network, your contract in those states will say there is no time frame and they can find it upon discovery, they can request that refund. If you are out of network, you may be able to say the work was done in good faith, you paid in good faith, I have no contractual agreement with you, therefore, please seek repayment from the patient directly. And most of the time, that'll be the end of it. The insurance company says it's not worth the fight, it's not worth the aggravation, it's not worth the time. So in those very few limited circumstances, there may be a way, if you're out of network, to get out of sending the money back. But if you're in network or you're in one of the states that has a rule and they are requesting this information or this refund within the timeline required by your state's law, there is absolutely nothing you can do except give the money back. Because if you don't, what will happen is they will take it from another check. Even maybe not from that patient, because they're not sending you any more checks for that patient, but from another patient, they will take that money out of that check and apply it towards that. And a lot of times the EOB won't even show you that they did that. That refund, that money they took out of the check will not be listed on the EOB. So you'll add up all your payments on the EOB and they'll be, $1,240, but they took $200 out for that overpayment from before. So the check will only be for 1,040. You won't catch it. At the end of the day, your deposit won't balance and it'll drive you crazy. And then you'll have to call them the next day because it'll be after 5. You'll have to call them the next day to figure out why they took that money. And then they'll tell you it was held for an overpayment for what patient. Well, we can't tell you. Please check the letters that we've sent you requesting the money back, and you'll be able to find it there. So it's much, much easier from an accounting standpoint and a time standpoint to just send them back the money when they ask for it, because believe me, they're going to get it anyway. And, just so everybody is aware, this is perfectly legal, unfortunately. It's perfectly acceptable, unfortunately. And it is a normal business process for the insurance companies. So, hopefully that clears up the retroactive termination and the refund requests a little bit. As always, if you have any questions, please post them here. But I am here. That is it. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, September 17th, and this is our morning drive live. I want to talk today about a conversation that I had last night with a, get that out of the way there, member of not only this group, but also someone who had attended one of my classes that I taught at the ADOM conference last week. And one of the things that we talked about in my 50 Things You Don't Know About Running a Business class was the Cures Act that is upcoming. And when I sent out the wrap-up, the follow-up email to everyone that was in the class, that was the thing that got the most questions. But this conversation that I had last night kind of hammered home what I already knew. That was, people are getting too much incorrect information from too many different groups, from too many different sources in general. It's not just Facebook, it's all over the place. Um, so basically what had happened, I talked about the Cures Act briefly in my 50 Things presentation last week. And this person, who is an office manager at a dental office, was intrigued because she hadn't heard about it. So she emailed me, asked me a couple questions. I explained to her what it meant and what the requirements were and the timelines and everything else. And she thought, wow, I haven't heard about this. So she called her software company. Now, this person specifically uses a very small software program for dental that, not a ton of people use. And she actually was able to get one of the big head honchos of this company with 10 or 15 employees on the phone and asked him, what's going on with this Cures Act? Are you guys in the process of preparing for the web portal, for the app access? And his response was, I don't know anything about it. We've not heard anything about it. I'm sure this is fake, and whoever it is that's telling you this is absolutely an idiot and incorrect. So she thought, this can't be right. Let me check with the ONC. That's who Rick said was in charge of it. She called the ONC, and they said it absolutely is a real thing. Please refer to the law as it's written, and it's 529 pages long. And she asked me for a copy of the law. I sent it to her. She then emailed the ONC asking, is this going to apply to dental? And she actually got a pretty fast reply from the ONC, who is, remember, the people that are in charge of enforcing the 21st Century Cures Act? And the reply said, yes, it's real. Yes, it will apply to dental as well as medical, because dental is considered part of the medical industry. Yes, it will apply to dental. No, there are not any special exceptions for dental. It will be enforceable. So she then thought, okay, well, let me double check this even more. And she called her Patterson rep. Her Patterson rep reached out to their regulatory department and was told by the regulatory department, yes, we're aware of it. Yes, it's a real thing. Yes, we are working on it. And yes, we will have for EagleSoft all of the requirements met by January 1st, 2022. So they will have the web portal, they will have app access for patients to access their records right through an app or a portal, and they're aware of it, they're working on it, and it will be ready for January 1st, 2022. So now she knew I wasn't just making something up because, Chicken Little and the sky is falling. So she went to her dentist and said, listen, these are the things that happened. We're going to have to look at finding a new software program at the end of this year because our software provider isn't even aware of this law, let alone has already started working on providing that access or an API connection or anything to be in compliance with the 21st Century Cures Act in 2022 like we need to be. The dentist said, I haven't heard anything about it. There's nothing in my dentist-only Facebook group about it, and nobody has mentioned anything about it in my study club. So I'm sure it's not a real thing. So now we have a dental office. We have a manager who is incredibly disgruntled, who knows that in 2022, when this drops and becomes a problem, it's going to be her issue to fix. It's going to be an emergency now that, oh my gosh, we have to get this done. We have to get this ready. We have to get this moving forward. So she's already planning for an emergency that she knows is going to happen. But the more important thing, and the thing that I really want to hammer home today, is that you have to be careful of where you are getting your information. This office manager took the time to reach out to multiple sources. Don't trust just me. Reach out to multiple sources. I try to provide multiple sources. This is why I do those webinars every now and then with other experts, other people other than me who can confirm everything I'm saying. She took the time to reach out to other sources. She reached out to the ONC directly and got the answer from them, from the people who are going to be enforcing this act. She reached out to Patterson, that is a way bigger company than I am, and they confirmed, yes, this is real, yes, this is happening, and yes, we are ready. And her doctor still says, I haven't heard about it on Facebook. I'm sure nothing's actually happening. So, I just want everybody to be prepared, and please, please, please be careful where you get your information, because not everybody knows exactly what's going on. I try to stay on top of as much as I can, but again, even me, don't just blindly trust me. Confirm what I say like this office manager did took the time to do, found out that I was right, and still isn't being believed because, well, the dentist only Facebook group isn't talking about it. So, hopefully everybody understands. If you haven't heard about it, if you haven't prepared for it, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/practice mechanic, I did a video with Debbie Carr a few months ago about the Cures Act specifically. A lot of people getting the 21st Century Cures Act and the CARES Act confused. The CARES Act was the $2.2 trillion um, COVID economic fund. The Cures Act is what we're looking at now, the 21st Century Cures Act, which gives people access to their records, increased access, online access, web portals, apps, so on and so forth. So, know the difference and understand that the 21st Century Cures Act is coming very quickly. We're down to less. I mean, it's 2022 is when this all goes into effect. So, you have to be ready for it. Your software has to be ready for it. Pay attention and please, please, please be careful where you get your information from. I am here. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Let me know, as always, if you have questions, and I will see you guys on Monday morning.